Welcome to the Salapaloosa Knits video cast. If you're a new viewer, welcome to the Knitting Crazy. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. My name is Elizabeth and I'm coming to you from the western part of Norway, where I live with my fiance and where I work in the psychiatry field. This is a podcast primarily about knitting, but it's about sharing my love for crafts in general. If you want to get in touch with me, I am Salapaloosa Knits on Salapaloosa Knits on Instagram. And if you have any questions, feel free to pop me an email at salapaloosanknits@gmail.com. I am just really feeling the change in the weather. I've been all bundled up with layers of wool lately, which is lovely, being able to pull out all the hand knits and just layering up and, you know, feeling warm and toasty. I'm also enjoying a lovely cup of custom tea. This is the Bouquet of Flowers tea, and it comes in this super handy little tin. I really like this about the Kusmi teas, that you can get these little, this sort of packages that have several different ones in 20-gram tins, so that you can try out some different ones before buying the really big boxes of these. But anyways, it's the Bouquet of Flowers. It's a Russian blend of China, Ceylon and India teas with a scent of bergamot, citrus fruit and flowers, and it's really good if you like black teas. That's a little flowery and citrusy, you'll probably like it. Alright, I'm just going to jump into the nitty-gritty and maybe comment on the elephant in the room. I finished it. It's done. Oh, I'm so excited. This is so big it cannot fit in the frame. It is huge. But this is the Redshift shawl. It's designed by Jared Flood for Brooklyn Tweed, and Brooklyn Tweed also made the yarn. This is Shelter by Brooklyn Tweed, which is 100% wool. It's a two-colour shawl. The red colour is called Cinnabar and the yellowish one I think is called Tallow. I will put it in the show notes, which incidentally can be found in the down bar. Yes, I actually knit this. I started knitting it last year, right after, I think maybe right after Christmas in the winter time, and when spring sprung, it just did not appeal to me working on it at the moment, so I put it away and decided to come back to it when the temperature had changed again after summer. It's also a very thick and warm product to carry around, so it just wasn't really suitable for spring and summer. So I put it away, and then a couple of weeks before Christmas I thought of this project again, and I thought, well, if I don't pick it up now and just start prioritizing working on it, then it's probably never going to get finished. So that's what I did. So from almost half of December and almost half of January, I have been a extremely monogamous knitter, which is very unusual for me. But it's been a really nice change. I can definitely see why people love working on one project at a time. It's quite addictive seeing how quickly you can get some actual progress that's showing, which is always immensely satisfying. And yeah, so I worked on it up until Christmas, and then actually on Christmas Eve I steeked it, or that is to say I cut the steek, because the shawl is knit in the round and then steeked along the hypotenuse edging, which is this really long one in the triangle there. And yeah, so when Christmas Eve is the main sort of Christmas holiday in Norway, the 24th of December. So actually when I got home from Christmas dinner on the 24th, I picked this up, and I hadn't been really knitting at all day, and so my fingers they were just itching to get started with something fun, and I realised that I had only about a couple of, maybe 2-3 rows to go before the steek. So I did those, and I ended up cutting the steek and sewing it in the middle of the night until Christmas morning, which was just great. I love cutting my knitting. I love a good steek, so that really did compensate for the non-knitting the rest of the day, which was great. Yes. Basically it was a lot of knitting in 2 weeks, because when I started this project, when I put it down, I had maybe done just this part of the colorwork section. So finishing this entire piece, I'm just really pleased with myself, to be honest, and just really happy with the way that it turned out. The big whoopsie daisy on this project is, it's quite a big one actually. The part that probably took the longest time, I'm going to say, at least in terms of it being difficult to, or how should I put this? After I did the steek, I felt like there was very little work to be done. It was just the edges. Turns out the edges was extremely much work. The reason for that being that after you steeked it, you pick up, you know, 1,000,000 stitches across this entire piece, and it's humongous. And in the pattern it said, I touched on this last week as well, it said to you know, do the increases, and that here and now you should knit back and forth. It did not, however, clarify that you should knit back and forth in garter stitch, which you should. I have, however, done all of this in stockinette, which is a lot of purling, you guys. It's a lot of purling, and I don't really love purling, I'm going to be honest. I don't love purling. I don't love purling, you know, 700 stitches in one go just to finish one row. So that was a bit annoying. Granted, looking back at the pattern, I see that I could definitely have read it more clearly and maybe avoided the big whoopsie, pardon, and this, you know, it's so much work going back and forth doing stockinette than just doing garter stitch. And yeah, if I'd known it, if I'd seen that it should be garter stitch, I would definitely have made it in garter stitch. However, I do love the way that it looks in stockinette as well. The entirety of the shawl is in stockinette, so I think that it does work really well. The downside of a stockinette edging is that theoretically the edges will probably roll in a little bit on themselves. However, the shelter yarn is quite sturdy, so far there hasn't really been an issue with that. Also, I've only washed this, I have not blocked it very aggressively, I've just washed it and laid it out. So I think that with a little bit more blocking, it should definitely not be a problem. And also, I'm never going to wear the shawl all pinned up like this. I'll, you know, throw it around me and swaddle up in it. So if the edges roll or something, especially this smaller one, you know, it doesn't really matter. It's not going to be visible and it doesn't bother me. So that's that, my finished object! Woohoo! I'm really happy that it's done. I love wearing it and I'm so excited to finally have it in my wardrobe. And big thank you to everyone who's been rooting for me to finish this. Yeah, I think there were some doubters out there, myself included, but here we are on the finish line and I couldn't be happier. So thank you everyone. Alright, it is Wednesday, by the way, it's the 30th of January. I actually recorded this entire video yesterday, but somehow the entire middle part was gone. I only had hello and goodbye, so yes, here we are again. Oops, sorry, that was the saucer making some noise. I've been working, trying to stay in this monogamous knitting phase or change or whatever it is a little longer. I have been working primarily on one project in the last week. I've also been I've also got a new sock pattern coming out soon, so that is also been in the works, but I'm going to wait a little while before showing you that. I'll probably show you next week. So the project that I've been working on this week is my Sipila by Boiler Knitworks, and the yarn I'm using is by Garnsur. And let me just say once again how much I absolutely adore this purple. Let me just, there we go, this purple right there. Yeah, I just really love this yarn. Now, when this was in the skein, it looked like it was primarily purple, and that was initially what I was looking for, because this is a colorwork garment, and just to really make that beautiful colorwork yoke pop, and you know, just to showcase that lovely design by Caitlin Hunter. But turns out this yarn has quite long strands of different colours. If you can see that, that entire piece is just sort of white and pink and gold before it turns into the purple again over here. And that is absolutely lovely. But what I couldn't see in the skein was that this gold right here, this is actually the same gold as I used for my contrasting colour, which isn't necessarily the best thing for a two colour design. But I finished the yoke and I'm going to show you how it turned out. There we go. This is the finished yoke with the colorwork section in the top, and the main colour that I chose is this purple one, and then this luscious gold, it is the contrasting, which incidentally is not that much of a contrast since the purple sort of blends into the gold a little bit. Now initially I was starting to work on this, I was a bit concerned that it would just be too messy for me. I do tend to like a bit of a sort of a balanced look. That's just what's mostly visually appealing to me, like clear colours and graphic designs and things like that. Might be my Scandinavian heritage that just draws me to that sort of simplistic look. But I do actually think it's quite nice. The pattern, it's not as clear as maybe I would have liked it, just because, you know, doing a lot, you know, doing a colorwork yoke like this, it's quite a bit of work, and although it is very enjoyable, you really do need to pay attention all the time, and it's in no way a mindless knit. And after working on this piece, it just maybe felt a little bit more work than it would have normally. But because of that, it's a bit of a shame that the colourwork doesn't really come out that clearly. Also, just because I really think that it's a very beautifully designed by Caitlin Hunter. I would have liked it to show a little bit better, but you know, it's there. It's there, and I still really love the colours on this. So even though it might be a little bit too basic, I might say, visually than what I would normally go for, I think that I will be rather pleased with this once it's finished. And now that the colourwork section is done, I'm over to the lovely mindless stockinette portion, which I will say that I felt I really needed after doing all of these big colourwork projects, just to give my brain a little time out from thinking and focusing too much on the knitting that I was working on. Yeah, I was just craving a bit of one colour stockinette, and now we're there, so I'm really pleased with that. It makes it very enjoyable to work on. But that being said, it also revealed another issue that I wasn't expecting, because with these long strands of yarn you get this sort of stripe effect here. Even though I'm altering skeins, it's not really pooling, it's just the long sections of one alternating colour will create these sort of stripes horizontally on here, which usually I would probably just really enjoy and think was beautiful. However, again, it's a little busy together with all of this, but I'm rolling with it, and I think that I think I will enjoy it once it is finished. And I'm just going to put some stitches back on the needles there because I totally ripped the needle out. Yes, I do think that I will enjoy it once it's finished. Right now it does seem a little busy, but yeah, no, I think it will be alright. The reason I chose these colours were, you know, that I really did love the colours. So that's not going to change, even though it was maybe a little bit too busy with the pattern. And that being said, it's not that bad. And if, you know, if I really did not like it, I would probably frog it and start the sweater again with a different yarn and use this for something else, because I think it is truly just a beautiful yarn, just maybe not the perfect choice for this project. But you know, we'll roll with it, see how it goes, and hopefully it will all turn out all right in the end. So this is the knitting that I've been working on this week. I have also been doing a little bit of embroidery. Last week I showed you the design that I had, or the pattern that I just finished, which was the Blossoming Garden design by Tamar, Nahir, Yanai, who is an incredibly talented embroidery designer, and I just adore her aesthetic. And if you buy her kits, you get it in this beautiful little packaging. So you get a stitch guide and information about all the stitches in this little booklet, and you get all the colours wrapped up like this, which is so beautiful and very handy. And it is all DMC embroidery thread, which I'm really starting to enjoy working with DMC. I'm not a very experienced embroiderer, but I'm just starting to, you know, feel the difference between different threads and different equipments and things like that, which is a lot of fun. Now this piece, if you know me, you will definitely understand pretty much right away why this spoke to me. I love books, I love reading, I love literature. I always have since I was a very young girl, and that's still with me. Reading books is one of my favourite things to do, and I also absolutely, there's some crinkling ahead, please watch out. I also absolutely love plants and flowers and all things that grow, which I feel like I say that every week, but it is true. I feel like it's almost periodically how much I love plants. Our house is, there's not one edge or shelf or table or any surface that you can put something on that has not been, you know, just stuffed with plants. Big green leafy ones like this, or just within reach. Let me show you. We have this one, we have this one, which is actually a coffee plant. We have this one, which is one that I've grown, and there's that's a big one. There we have one, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 other plants just in this room. So yeah, just to point out just how bit of a plant addict I am. They're everywhere. They are everywhere. I really want my house to feel like a jungle when you enter it, and just have big green leafy plants everywhere, and it just makes me so happy. Anyways, yes, tangents, sorry. I love plants, yay! So this piece, it definitely just spoke so clearly to me. This is called Reading Time, and it is a girl sitting in a big comfy chair surrounded by green plants and reading a book. I mean, it really needed to be part of, sorry, there we go. It really needed to be part of my life. And so I started working on this kit. I'm just going to pop it out of the hoop that I'm working on because I'm using a very small hoop. I found that using a small hoop just creates a bit more stretch and tension on the fabric, which I really like when embroidering. So I haven't gotten that far on this yet, but it is quite an intricate design, and the chair that she's sitting in, I think that's going to be quite a bit of work actually. So just to, I just thought that visually it would really help my motivation if what I had finished was something that really stood out and made it feel like I'd done quite a bit of embroidering. So I did start off with the girl. So I finished the girl and the book she's reading, and I think maybe her dress. No, her dress is not entirely finished, but most of her is finished. And I just started a couple of the lovely plants around there. And one of the things that I really like about this designer, I will link to her Etsy shop in the show notes in the down bar, is that she really does create patterns that have a wide assortment of different stitches. Nothing too complicated, nothing too hard, so it's really, it's just very doable and feels like it's something that you can manage even though you're not a prolific embroiderer. And you know, I really like that because for one it gives me the training that I need to do the stitches better, and it also creates, it just keeps your interest while working on it. It's not just the same stitch over and over and over and over and over and over again, and of course there are quite a few stitches that you do a lot of, but it's not, it does not feel like it's not doable. It's just the right balance to keep your interest. And I find that embroidery has more and more become something that is just utterly zen for me, just almost meditative to work on. It just really helps me clear my mind and relax, and yeah, we all need that. So I'm really glad that I stumbled upon embroidery again. I haven't done it since I was quite a young girl, and yeah, just finding back to one of my other crafty loves was just really welcome in my life right now. Yes, if you have been wanting to try embroidery and been uncertain or scared or anything, I do recommend giving it a go. You don't have to buy a lot of equipment. There are these wonderful kits that include everything you need. You can even get the hoop included, and maybe try it out, see if you like it. I can only speak for myself, but for me it's just been a true joy, and yes, I recommend it. I really do. Okay, that's actually been all of my crafting the last week, apart from my designing, that is. And other than that, I've just been having a lot of night shifts, which mess a little bit with your sleep schedule and your body rhythm. And after a couple of night shifts, even though I have a few days off, it does make me really sleepy and just not as attentive and not have as much energy as I feel like I do have when I work you know, a normal schedule, like during the day and sleeping during the night. But because of that, I feel like working out is really helping me to keep my energy levels up and to get everything that I want done. And yes, especially I feel like in Northern Europe or other places where it's really dark and cold during winter, it just really helps me out a lot. So that's what I've been doing, really. And of course there's been some wedding planning, which is just, oh, it's so much fun and just so enjoyable. And it's, yeah, I've really been enjoying looking at everything and venues and dates and all of the details that you need to think about. And we haven't set the date yet, but we are hoping to do so very soon, because we are looking at June this year as our big day, and that's not far away. So I'm going to be, you know, really busy with that in the nearest weeks and months, just trying to get everything in order. And yes, I'll need to start booking some appointments to try on dresses and things like that, which should be a lot of fun. I'm excited about it. What else? If you're interested, I'm reading a book by Haruki Murakami right now. It is the newest one, called Killing Commendatore. It is, I haven't gotten that far into it, and maybe, or not that bad either, I'm probably a fourth into it, I think. And I'm enjoying it. If you like Murakami, you'll like it. I've always enjoyed his writing. I think I think he really is an excellent writer, but somehow I feel like his books are a little bit repetitive in its themes and some of the plots and just the character developments, but at the same time it is very good, so I don't really mind it. But that's what I'm reading anyways. What else? I think, oh, that's very bulky. I think that's it for the rambling. There's a bit of an announcement. I almost forgot to say this. I was about to say goodbye, but there is one more thing that I forgot to mention. I am going to Edinburgh Yarn Festival in March this year, and it's my first time going. I am very excited. I am so happy to be going and to meet some of the wonderful people that I have known through Instagram and whom I love and cherish, like the wonderful ladies of the Girls in the Yarn Cafe, and yes, to be quite honest, I haven't really, I'm not quite sure who everyone is who's going, but if you are going, or of course not, it's a huge event, but I haven't really wrapped my mind around who I know who is going yet. So if you're going, let me know. I would love to meet you, and you know, hugs all around. And yes, I think it's going to be very exciting and a lot of fun. And yeah, I think that's it. I have to say, I really am enjoying this whole monogamous knitting thing. I don't know how long it will last, but you know, I'm really pleased with it. I have so many there's so many wonderful knitters who are just excellent at managing their whips and keeping themselves sort of in line when it comes to not overindulging in casting on, really, which maybe I've done a little bit. And for instance, the lovely Lily of Nordic Stitches, whom I love dearly, and she's always seemed to have just the right amount of projects going, which I really admire. And yes, if you don't know her, check her out on Instagram and on her YouTube channel. I will link to everything below. She is definitely one to know. She's wonderful. But yeah, I really do admire people who somehow seem to know the exact amount of whips to keep at all time and not overindulge. But at the same time, I don't really get stressed from having a lot of whips. I know a lot of people feel quite overwhelmed by that, which I don't for some reason, which is actually a little bit odd because I'm a bit of a neat freak and I like everything sort of in order, if you will. But somehow I don't mind that much. Yes, I think that's it. I do have some acquisitions, but I did forget to bring them with me today, so we'll leave that for next time. And yes, I'll be off. I need to hit the gym before the gym gets too overcrowded in the afternoon, which I really don't like. I'd like to get there as early as possible when it's quiet and not that much people around. But anyways, please hit the thumbs up and let me know what you're working on. Leave a comment below. Also, I'd love to know what you think is the right amount of projects to be working on in your life. What do you prefer? What's your number? Yes. Alright, please subscribe and hit the thumbs up if you'd like. I'd really appreciate it. And have a good week and be kind to one another. Bye!